Good morning. Good morning. We're going to call the Ag and Food Finance and Policy Division to order. And welcome to the Ag and Food Finance and Policy Division. We are going to, the clerk will note the roll, and we've got some minutes to approve right off the bat, so Representative Brand.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I move the minutes from February 21st, 2019.
All right, February 21st, 2019, those are in your packet. Any comments or suggestions, amendments to that? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, no. The motion prevails, the minutes are adopted. And we do have a busy day today, and we have a full house, and so we welcome everybody here today. We have some guests. Certainly we have some, it's Cattlemen's Day on the Hill, so we have people in cool hats, yes, who are here today, and we're happy to have the cattlemen here amongst us. And we also have Land Stewardship Project Day today, so we have a number of people who are interested in some bills here today. And we do have a full agenda. We're hoping to be done by 11:15, but we do have the room until 11:45, so if we do have to extend it, we will be doing that, because the other important work that we will be doing today include some dairy bills, and so we want to be able to do that as well. But as we get started this morning, I just want to invite the Minnesota State Cattlemen's Association to come down, and we have, so I'm going to invite Mike Landuit here, as well as Ashley Cole. So she's going to get us started, and we welcome you.
Well, good morning, Chairman Poppe, members. Thank you for allowing us to join you this morning. As she mentioned, it's Minnesota State Cattlemen's Association Day on the Hill, and our members will be visiting with a lot of you individually throughout the day. But we wanted to take a moment to highlight some of the good things that the cattle industry is doing for the state of Minnesota. You'll find on your binders two little nuggets, one paper nugget about the economic impact of the beef industry here in the state of Minnesota. And just one thing I want to point out on this specific piece of paper, and you can read the rest of it as you have time today, but Minnesota's beef industry contributes $4.9 billion and over 47,000 jobs to the state's economy. So as far as agriculture goes, we rank towards the top for livestock. The other little nugget is a beef nugget, a beef stick from a local butcher shop, Blondie's Butcher Shop in Wanamingo, and Lindsay is here somewhere, the owner. She's over there, the blonde one. Hence the name Blondie's Butcher Shop. So thank you, Lindsay, for bringing along these treats, and we'll have more of them with us throughout the day. So as you mentioned, with me up here, I have Mike Landit, and he was recognized this past January at the 2019 Cattle Industry Convention, National Cattle Industry Convention, for some of the voluntary conservation efforts that he implements on his farm. And he was the winner of a regional award on the national level, and the award is called the Environmental Stewardship Award, and basically provides the beef industry an opportunity to showcase voluntary stewardship, conservation, and business practices and how they all work together. And so we have a video that highlights what his family does on their farm by Walnut Grove.
In southwest Minnesota, Landit Land and Livestock has family roots going back to 1928. Today, Mike and George Landit work together to care for their crops and their cattle.
Our operation here is a fourth generation cattle feedlot and farm. We have about 2,200 acres of crops and just over 700 head of cattle on feed all the time.
Mike's always farmed with us since a little boy. He come with me every day. Anytime you can work side by side with your wife and your son, it's just the best. And the rest of the family pitches in too, so we don't want to forget him.
I just love everything about raising cattle. I guess I love being out here with them. I love spending time doing the jobs that it takes to raise them.
Back in the 1950s, Mike's grandfather moved away from raising cattle. But in 1999, Mike brought beef cattle back into the family operation. Since then, the Landits have added a hoop barn and a larger monoslope building to shield their cattle from the weather.
We feed all our cattle under roofs here. It works well for us. It helps just keep the environment more steady for the cattle. Environmentally, with the barns, there's big benefits there because it keeps the manure more consistent. Or we don't have just the rainwater that gets in the manure and then decreases the value. So we get rid of that aspect of it. It keeps, there's no runoff. There is zero runoff from our barns here or from our feed yards. It's all contained within the barn, and there's no worries about any runoff of that sort coming out of the barns.
On their croplands, Mike and George use reduced tillage systems to prevent erosion. To protect water quality, they've installed buffer zones along their fields to filter any runoff. And they take a precision approach to applying crop inputs, so they've intensified their use of soil sampling.
Grid soil sampling, taking soil samples every 2.5 acres, and they've been doing it for a lot of years now. That's not something new to them. They've on the forefront of that project. And then also, after we get those results, they're really strategically applying the manure at the right rates and making sure we're utilizing that manure as a valuable fertilizer source.
They're integrating, obviously, the manure that's produced on their farm to apply, but they're really looking at soil testing as well as cover crop integration. They actually, through NRCS, they do, with this Conservation Stewardship Program, they actually have an enhancement where they do soil tests where it looks at the actual like microbes and the respiration and everything to see how the soil health is doing on their farm.
The earthworms, the microbes, it's all important function of what makes our crops and what gets us the yields we're fortunate enough to get here.
A significant challenge is controlling erosion due to rainfall, so the Landits have partnered with NRCS to build 15 water retaining structures in their fields.
We've built a lot of basins, water retention basins out in our fields to control when we do get a heavy rain. Most of them are built to withstand a 6-inch rain. And they'll hold all that water back, and then they slowly release it through the tile system instead of it all just running down the hill in a matter of minutes. It's metered out, and it hits the creek slower that way when it does get there.
So working with Mike, we're able to clean up the water that is entering the stream. We're able to treat it in the watershed above before it gets to the stream. And so that's why he's making progress that way. And that's why it's so important for our rivers and streams here. They're getting better all along. And it's because of people like Mike and the Landite family as they're doing structures and things like this and doing better management on the land so the water doesn't wash off and take the sediment and chemicals with it.
Beyond their farm, the town of Walnut Grove draws visitors who often see what the Landits are doing. That's because some of their land is on the banks of Plum Creek, site of the Ingalls family farm, made famous in the Little House on the Prairie books. The Landits also benefit from a nearby ethanol plant where they can deliver corn and get distillers' grain to use in their feed ration.
So they have the feedlot, but when you look at inputs into the feedlot, they grow all the corn that goes into the feedlot, but also some of that corn goes into an ethanol plant up the road, and that byproduct gets fed back to the cattle. And then as a feedlot, all the manure in the bed pack goes out into the crops for fertilizer. So they kind of have that holistic approach to sustainability here on one farm.
From crops to cattle, everything works together on Landit Land and Livestock. And it's clear the family tradition of doing what's right for the land is in good hands.
It's about how to make this farm be here another 90 years. What can we do to save money and make it a profitable farm? And they tie together so nice because, it's all economic driven. The benefit is the things we're doing are also environmentally beneficial.
If it's good for the environment, you need to do it. It's just important that we take care of the earth, and sure, it costs you a little money to build some retentions, structures and stuff, but if it's going to save the soil, save the earth, you just need to do it.
And we're all in this long term. Everything we do is long term. I think that's just where some of this conservation stuff comes in. It goes to that same mentality of we're in this for the long haul.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So Mike would like to share just a little bit about his family's farm, here before we wrap up quick.
Absolutely, Mr. Landit.
Thank you to the committee. Yeah, as said in the video, I am a 4th generation on our farm. My children, we live in the house, they're the 5th generation there. We've been doing a lot of this stuff for a long time. In the early 90s, we started grid sampling our soils. Even before I came back from college, that was something that my family had been doing. We've tested our manure for years. Trying to just think of some of the stuff you got to see in the video to highlight. The buffers, I think 80 or 85% of our farms were buffered before it was mandatory. The only ones that weren't were absentee landowners. Everything that our family owned ourselves was done pre that. We use GPS for just about everything. We even spread our manure with GPS so that we keep track of where we've been that way and we don't overlap. Use it for spraying so we don't overapply chemicals. All those basins that we have, they were put to the test this year. This video was taken in June. We had a 5-inch rain earlier that year. About 2 weeks after that video was taken, we had an 11-inch rain. They all overflowed, but they held. I actually had the township supervisor from the township that most of them are in came up to me afterwards and thanked me. He said that all our basins actually, he thinks, helped hold their roads intact because we have a lot of roads that are still washed out from last summer that haven't been fixed yet. So, that's what they're doing. We work with high water ethanol. That's the plant we use. They're doing a lot of conservation things there too. We use tile water that we pump out of the tile lines underneath the ground to not use groundwater. We have to use wells. So everything that we do is kind of tied in with that. And like I said, it's something we've been doing for a long time, and we pride ourselves on doing.
Thank you. Are there any questions of committee members? We very much appreciate the work that you have done and for sharing the video. And it's a perfect day to have Land Stewardship Day here for you to be able to be recognized about the good stewardship you've been doing on your land. So thank you very much for that. And I appreciated that you're on the Plum Creek. I mean, this is like, we got a literature question here. We've got some, we've got some information about history. This is the full aspect of agriculture. We get it all here today, so I appreciate that. Representative Anderson.
Thanks. Just a quick question, Madam Chair. Thanks for the video and for getting the word out about the good things that are being done in agriculture. I don't know if you have cow-calf, but could you comment a bit on the challenges the weather has presented this winter and trying to keep cattle watered and fed and things like that?
Yeah.
Excellent question.
We are not a cow-calf. We are all feedlot. Ashley does have some cow-calf, so she can.
Yeah, so yesterday up until about 8:30, we were moving cows to higher ground, which is something you typically do when there's water. But with all this snow, we actually had to move some cows home that are typically calving out on either corn stalks or some along the woods or in the woods. So it's definitely posed a challenge. The biggest challenge is making sure they have feed and water. They can thrive through a certain amount of snow as long as they have wind blocks. But getting to them to make sure they get feed and water has been the challenge. So there have been some folks down in the southeast corner who've had buildings collapse. And so that's been a challenge for them during calving season, which makes that even more challenging. But cattlemen are resilient. They'll figure out a way to get around it, and hopefully we'll start seeing some more green grass here in not too many weeks like we saw in the video today. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Again, appreciate the opportunity to have you here today. I'm glad that you were able to come and share that, and so enjoy the rest of your day. Look forward to seeing you. Many of us will probably have appointments with different cattlemen today, so I appreciate that you're here. So
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, and enjoy the beef stick.
And thanks for the beef stick as well, the blondie. All right, so we're going to move on because we do have some bills up today. So House File 811, that is Representative Lippert, and we have at least 6 people on the agenda, I think, to speak to that. And we're going to be running short of our precious time. We want to make sure that everything has the amount of time that it needs. But Representative Lippert, I'm going to. And then as you bring your people, they could probably all come together and sit kind of in the area there and be able to come if they're already there. Perfect.
Great.
So Representative Lippert, this is a bill that does fund farm to school, and we did talk to the education committees, the chairs, and they do not expect to hear this bill, so we will just be able to hear the bill and lay it over today. So Representative Lippert, would you like to move your bill?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House File 811 for possible inclusion in the Omnibus Ag Finance Bill.
All right, so thank you. The bill is before us, so you can just go ahead and introduce the bill and your testifiers.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. The purpose of this bill is to introduce more Minnesota-grown, whole, minimally processed, healthy foods into early learning and public school meal programs all across the state. This bill will be good for local farmers. It will be good for our children. It will be good for local economies, too. Giving a farmer access to a school market can give a farmer growing local foods for a local community access to an increasingly stable and diversified income. Opening up this market can be a true game changer for a farmer. Ben Doherty of Open Hands Farm in Northfield shared that having access to a school market allowed Open Hands Farm to triple its business. Farmers growing foods for local communities are eager to provide their food for our schools and our children, and schools are looking to partner with farmers in this way too. Children who participate in farm-to-school programs are more likely to eat a wide variety of foods and to try new foods. Research shows that children participating in farm-to-school also eat an additional serving of fruits and vegetables per day. So by introducing fresh, healthy food through farm-to-school, it's creating healthier children as well. This farm-to-school bill will also benefit local economies. Every dollar invested in farm-to-school will lead to $2.16 in local economic impact. The dollars in this bill will be injected right back into local farms, into our communities, and into our neighborhoods. Getting local foods into institutions like schools will also help grow capacity for local foods, making it easier to build the processing facilities and distribution networks needed to allow this growing economic sector to take the next step forward. So this bill will be good for Minnesota farmers and Minnesota communities too. So this bill provides a $2 million annual grant program to reimburse sponsors of USDA child nutrition programs for purchasing Minnesota-grown, whole or minimally processed food. The funds available to each school through this opt-in grant will be determined by the number of meals served. This bill also provides one full-time farm-to-school coordinator at the Minnesota Department of Agriculture to provide technical assistance to both farmers interested in selling to schools and schools who are interested in building that relationship with local farmers. The governor's ag budget also includes farm-to-school technical support and the 2 new FTEs designated for trade and marketing. This bill is a key priority for land stewardship project members who are here today, and it's also a key priority of the Minnesota Farmers Union as well. And now I'll turn it over to testifiers, and our first we'll hear from Becca Carlson from Seeds Farm.
Welcome to the committee, Ms. Carlson. You can go ahead and introduce yourself and provide your testimony.
Thank you, Member Chair and members of the committee. I am Becca Carlson and a member of Land Stewardship Project, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share with you why I think this farm-to-school bill is a win for our students, our communities, and our state. For 10 years, I've grown fruits and vegetables at my 12-acre farm in Northfield, Minnesota. I know 12 acres may not seem like much relative to commodity farmers who may farm hundreds or thousands of acres, but the high-value crops that I grow on my farm enable me and farmers like me, like the ones in this room, to make a living, run small businesses, hire local employees, and grow healthy food for our communities. Last year, my crew and I harvested over 200,000 pounds of healthy, nutritious fruits and vegetables for our community, grossing over $200,000. And small businesses like mine make big contributions to the communities we serve in every county and in every state in this state. For 3 years, I've worked with the Minneapolis Public Schools Farm-to-School program. Every year, I've grown more romaine head lettuce, squash, and cucumbers for the students than the year before. For me, public schools are an important customer, representing a growing portion of our overall sales. It's enabled us to scale our operations, staff our farm, purchase seeds and soil, and safely invest in the resources necessary to continue to grow our business. The purchasing power of our public schools is mighty, and that power should be directed at ensuring students have access to healthy local food. Instead of purchasing food grown or raised out of state for local school lunches, we can choose to invest the same amount of money on local foods within our state, supporting our communities. We know, as mentioned, that every dollar spent generates an additional $2.16 of local economic activity. The potential market the farm-to-school bill generates means significant and meaningful sales that continue to ripple outward into our communities. Local farms are growing, even with little or no public support, and we can do more to help them grow by systematically supporting and investing in them through the Farm-to-School bill. In addition to being good for my business, working with the Farm-to-School program aligns with my values of feeding my community healthy food, and for me, that means taking no shortcuts. When I think of planting a crop, say of broccoli, on my farm, I aim to grow the best broccoli I can. So I give that broccoli the best conditions, rich with nutrients, water, and sunlight. When I think of growing the next crop of students, our next generation, I think in similar terms. If we want them to succeed, we need to create a similar environment where they can thrive. For me, that means healthy food. I know I feel best, and I can do my best when I eat healthily. This bill is a win for local businesses, a win for our local economies, and a win for our students. And I hope you will vote yes for the Farm to School bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carlson. And we're going to go ahead and bring down the next three testifiers.
Invite forward,
If you can-
Jansen.
So if you can have Jansen, Hang, Carrie Frank, Todd Lean, they'd be able to come to the table so we're ready. Because we'll have to try to limit you to about 2 minutes each. So if you can, and there should be some chairs, so you can sit in the chairs there and then be ready to speak. So Mr. Hang,
Okay.
please introduce yourself.
Sure. Madam Chair and members of the committee, my name is Jansen Hang. I am the senior organizer for the Hmong American Farmers Association. The Hmong American Farmers Association is a membership-based nonprofit organization that works with Hmong farmers in the Twin Cities and surrounding metropolitan area. Our mission is to actually advance the economic, social, and cultural prosperity of Hmong American farmers and their families here. So through organizing approaches, capacity buildings, we work to create a pathway to wealth creation, just not income generations here. The Hmong American Farmers Association currently has 25 members working under the organizations. The organization currently operates a 155-acre farm, just 20 minutes south of the Twin Cities metropolitan area. Currently having 18 farmers occupying the 155-acre farm, anywhere farming from between 5 to 10 acres. On this 155-acre farm, we currently grow over 160 varieties of produce, and those produce were primarily sold to the local farmers market system, where Hmong farmers had been a leading vendors of the St. Paul Minneapolis farmers market system for the past 2 decades here. But at the same time, that has also been very challenging with the insecurity of the farmers market system. So as a result, the Hoffa farmer, our farm here, also holds or houses the alternative market program here. And the alternative market program is an opportunity for farmers to help diversify their income besides the farmers market system. And through the alternative market program here, this program has allowed members to sell their produce to institutions such as schools, retailers, through our CSA programs as well too. And as a result of the alternative market program, last year we had made a sale of $375,000 here, but of which only 10% of it contributes to our sale to school institutions here. But at the same time, this opportunity has allowed our members to become a parity with mainstream mixed vegetable producer in Minnesota. So I wanted to share that with you. But in our sales to school program here, the Hmong American Farmers Association currently serves 7 county school districts here. In addition to that, we also provide services to private schools as well as early childhood providers here. In amount to, out of the 7 county school district here, it totals up to 166 schools here. And of that, it actually supports or provide fresh local produce to over 80,000 students here. Last year alone here, Hoffa provided through our Farm to School program over 20,000 pounds of produce here. And as a result of that, we asked Madam Chairs and members of the committee here to support this farm bill here. To support this farm bills here, that we can increase the wages or the fair prices that local farmers should obtain for the hard work that they are providing to our local food system, as well as to our children in the school system. And not only that, but because the majority of our farmers here actually live in the Twin Cities metropolitan area, they're providing this increase here. This also provides a boost to our local economy as well. So I ask you, member of the chairs and member of the committee here to support this farm bill.
Thank you, Mr. Hang. Now, Carrie Frank. And I know that you're all appreciative of the people that are presenting, but if you can hold the applause because we are going to be running out of time. So, Ms. Frank.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name's Carrie Frank. I'm the Food and Nutrition Director for Dover Utah Public Schools. Quite coincidentally, I grew up right down from the Capitol, down in the West 7th and Randolph area, Monroe High School. Go Green Wave. But currently, I am living in Rochester. Dover Utah Public Schools School District is located in Olmsted County, 10 miles east of Rochester. The district holds one elementary site and one junior-senior high site. The total enrollment is 11,000 students. We have a high percentage of participation in the National School Lunch Program, about 80%. But our free and reduced is only 23%. Along with many schools in Minnesota, Dover Eota Public Schools believes everything we do here is educational. There isn't any time we turn a switch off. And our food and nutrition services isn't about getting kids fed. It's about teaching them to eat nutritionally. We also believe the cafeteria is a classroom. And our food and service professionals are valuable teachers in food literacy. In the cafeteria, we do more than prepare and serve meals. We teach where food comes from, what a balanced meal looks like, and how good nutrition can impact health and academic performance. I began working at Dover Utah Public Schools 13 years ago. In the beginning, I was taken back at the amount of heavily processed foods that were being used, and I knew I needed to start doing more scratch cooking and offering more nutrient-rich foods. I began to wonder if I could purchase from the local farmers that I would pass by every day on my drive to and from work. It was after that that I attended a class on farm to school given by Annette Durham from Wilmer, Minnesota, where she shared her farm to school program. That I was so inspired and encouraged that I could purchase alternatively. Since 2007, our district has purchased during the growing season from 7 farmers or businesses, including apples from Cathan Ridge in La Crosse, and my handout will tell the other impact that Cathan Ridge has done to the school year, to the school district by providing assistance in a school orchard. We buy from Blattner's Farm. Their company name is Produce Plus. For 26 years, they've been providing produce on the local corners. And so this is a great way to partner with them. Not only do we get the fresh fruits and vegetables, but their students go to the school district. We buy ground beef from Bert's Meat in Eota, baked goods from St. Charles Bakery, and ground turkey from Ferndale Market. We also have purchased 500 pounds of tomatoes from Kraus Farms, and we made tomato sauce out of that. Local foods can be purchased throughout with our distributors as well. We have purchased local meats, dairy, salad greens, tomatoes, cabbage, and even tangelos. Yes, tangelos are grown in Minnesota. Working with students, teachers, and Jerry, our apple grower, Dover Utah Schools planted 15 apple trees. And the students can see them. They're visible to 3 sight lines. And this year we had such a bumper crop that we were making homemade applesauce every day. What I've learned from working in a small rural district is that purchasing local is part of the culture. We are part of a food purchasing co-op. There's 7 districts in this co-op, and they're all small rural schools in southern Minnesota. Each one of them purchase local, whether it's meat, produce, or from their bakery. One of the challenges for a rural, smaller school is that they tend to pay more. foods purchased due to the location and quantities needed. Because of this, I've paid as much as $1 a pound more for products in the larger school districts. And so the support of this bill would help offset those costs. An interesting consequence, unexpected, is the pride that it's given our food service professionals. I'm often hearing they are proud of what they do, and it's made their job enjoyable again. The students, being how the food comes right from their house, you know, the Blattner's farm. And I often hear, my family grew this, or where did you get the squash? And when I say Blattner's, well, my grandfather picked that yesterday.
I think I'm going to have you wrap it up.
Yep. So, Madam members and committee, I challenge you to support the Farm to School bill. In so doing, you can help change early childhood in the school environment. The bill is good for the kids. It provides needed investment and support for schools to purchase local nutritious food from farmers. And I've seen firsthand, when I offer local foods, the kids are more likely to eat more foods, and they're more willing to try them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Frank, and now Todd Lean. Welcome to the committee, and state your name.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, thank you. My name is Todd, excuse me, my name is Todd Lean. I am the Regional Sales Manager for Thousand Hills Cattle Company and an active member of the Land Stewardship Project. Thousand Hills is an aggregator of 100% lifetime grazed beef cattle. Our base of operation is in Becker, Minnesota, and the company is independently owned and operated by farmer and businessman Matt Meyer. Thousand Hills has been in the business of selling 100% grass-fed meat product for over 16 years. We work closely with regional processors like Lawrence Meats in Cannon Falls to provide the market with fresh cut meats, cooked sausages, value-added products, and shelf-stable snack products. In total, we offer more than 65 different beef products to the market. Our market is made up of full-service and case-ready retail stores, restaurants, and institutional accounts like schools at the elementary, secondary, and post-secondary level. We currently have a staff of approximately 10 full-time positions. Our supply of beef does not come from only one farm. Instead, we aggregate or source finished cattle from farms that comply with our strict production protocol and that meet third-party certification standards. On an annual basis, we work with approximately 40 to 50 small to mid-sized family farms throughout the Midwest. We process about 5,000 animals annually, or about 100 beef per week. We have sold our products to schools at the elementary and secondary level for more than 5 years. Sales in academic year 2017 and 18 amounted to approximately 30,000 pounds and was served to roughly 240,000 students throughout Minnesota. In the first half of this school year, we sold approximately 18,000 pounds of beef. We estimate gross sales for this academic year to be roughly $140,000. As a point of reference, one meal served in the Minneapolis School District can require as much as 4,000 pounds of meat, which is then served to about 18,000 students. Supporting this bill is important because it creates business opportunities for companies like Thousand Hills. Once the school has completed its food service plan and budget, we then know the amount that will be needed and that the price we will be given. This guaranteed sale allows us to better plan, anticipate, and execute on the fulfillment of this order. And it allows us to better forecast to our producers the number of cattle that we will be needing to harvest. Working with schools also helps to achieve our mission as a company. That mission is one of building a food production system based on the principles of regenerative agriculture. Specifically, a food system that can reestablish critical grasslands, build topsoil, sequester carbon, help improve upon the watershed management efforts, and eliminate herbicides and pesticides from the production of our food. And finally, by working with school food programs, we help encourage students to think about their food and to support them in asking questions like, where does it come from and why does that matter? Bills like this strengthen the link between farm and the lunchroom. This is a critical link in our food and agriculture system, and we encourage your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leon. The next two people do have a written testimony as well in the packet. So I think we have Kathleen Doran Norton. Are you the next person up? And then we also have Nikki Warner if she wants to come forward, but we do have some written testimony. So go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. My name's Kathleen Doran Norton. I'm here representing the League of Women Voters today, which supports local and beginning farmers and supports this bill. But I'd like to speak personally. I've been a township supervisor for a dozen years, and I've seen two different trends. One, that the farmer gets old, goes to assisted living, the homestead gets rented, the farmland gets rented. That's not a good forward position for keeping townships healthy. The other trend are the folks that you've seen this morning, farmers like Becca that have worked really hard to get their products into the market. These kind of farmers keep our farms healthy, keep our communities healthy. I think this is a great investment in Minnesota, in our healthy rural communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Nikki Warner wants to come forward. She may as well, and then introduce yourself and provide your testimony.
Good morning, Chair Poppe, Vice Chair Brand, and members of the Ag and Food Finance and Policy Committee. My name is Nikki Warner. As Communications Director for the Good Acre, a nonprofit food hub in Falcon Heights, I've seen firsthand how the growth of the farm to school has helped many farmers we work with become more profitable. Being able to sell to schools offers farmers the opportunity to tap into a new market beyond traditional direct sales outlets like farmers markets and community-supported agriculture programs, or CSAs. Selling a couple cases of local watermelon, carrots, or delicata squash to a school district is not inconsequential. The impact these sales have on individual family farms is significant. And supporting this bill will help put dollars into the pockets of hardworking Minnesota farmers who care for our land, feed our communities, and make our local food system safer, stronger, and more resilient. It's for these reasons I'm asking you to please vote yes on the Farm to School and Early Care Bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your testimony. All right, so are there any other people in the audience who wanted to testify? Otherwise, any questions from committee members? Oh, Representative Hamilton.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Representative Lippert, thank you for bringing this forward. I believe I'm a co-author on it as well. And the one question I have is under appropriations. We have on lines 3.23, $150,000 to establish a coordinator position, and then right under that, we are given another 4% of the appropriation to administer this program. Is this necessary or is it redundant? What's going to be the difference between those two positions?
Representative Lippert.
So Erin McKee is here, I believe, and she, I think, would be the best equipped to answer that particular question.
Okay, welcome to the committee. If you can introduce yourself and
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, my name is Erin McKee. I am the Community Food Systems Program Director at the Institute for Agriculture and Trade Policy, and I have been helping to coordinate the large group of stakeholders who are working on this bill. So to your question, Representative Hamilton, so the $150,000 to establish the Farm to School Coordinator position at the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, that person would be kind of a general support person who would assist both the schools and farmers who are interested in connecting and selling to each other. And the 4% would be more about technical support to farmers that is a little bit more general and helping them to develop kind of the necessary skill set to access these markets. So for those farmers who are used to selling at farmers markets, it's a very different model, a very different business model. So they kind of would learn about the kind of licensing requirements, insurance requirements, and kind of the business planning and regulations and rules around selling to schools. So it's more of a direct technical support where the coordinator position is a generalist who would also work with the schools, is how we originally planned it.
Representative Hamilton.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the testifier. We just want to make sure we get the most money to the program and not have it be redundant on duplicative services, if you will. Thank you.
Representative Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Lippert, I have a question on the wording beginning on line 3.10. You're talking about the things not included in this bill. Fluid milk, agricultural commodities, and yogurt containing artificial sweetener. I assume the fluid milk would be because you'd be dealing with raw milk, but why would you include something as broad as excluding agricultural commodities? Aren't all these things actually agricultural commodities?
Representative Lippert.
So I'll take a quick pass at this, and then Aaron McKee might add in a little bit more. I think the general intent is to be supporting for this bill. We recognize on this committee we have a broad umbrella, and there are a variety of programs that are supporting what we might think of as commodity farming, corn and bean farming. This is directing funds to producers who are growing local foods for local communities in particular, and trying to strengthen those local networks.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, members of the committee, I would also say that I do want to make it clear that the bill's intention is to support purchases of local products, any minimally processed local things such as grains or dairy products that are minimally processed, but it wouldn't go towards those products that are grown to be processed into other things, like you couldn't pay for a local highly processed cereal, for example. But if they were buying something like whole oats or even minimally processed oats to make oatmeal, that would be fine with this money.
Representative Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I agree with that, but that's not what the bill says. It says it's excluding agricultural commodities. And I would suggest maybe working with that language to get at what you are specifically trying to include. Because, yeah, if somebody wants to sell some wheat to make flour, under this language, I would think that would be excluded in your example about oats as well. So just a heads up to check on that language.
Thank you, Representative.
Yes, thank you. All right, I don't see any other questions. So Representative Lippert, any final comments? And if you would like to move.
I'll simply renew my motion that House File 811 be laid over for possible inclusion in the Omnibus Ag Finance Bill.
Thank you. The bill, House File 811, is laid over. And so thank you for your testimony today to all. And we're going to move on to House File 1096. And while we're doing that, I just want to make sure that we recognize that we have Representative David Bly in the audience today. So he's back, I think, with land stewardship and able to be here. So welcome. So Ms. Wazlawik comes forward with her farm to food shelf funding bill. And I'm going to, again, this is another bill that we will lay over. So, Ms. Wazlawik, Representative Wazlawik, will you like to move your bill?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I move House File 1096 for possible inclusion in the Omnibus Ag Finance Bill.
Thank you very much. I know that we have had some discussion about the farm to food shelf in the past, but I know you have testifiers with you today, and we're anxious to, again, hear from them. So if you want to go ahead and provide some initial introduction and then testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's similar to Representative Lippert's bill. This bill will help our local communities, particularly our food shelves.
Just going to make sure that people know that we are still in session here in committee. So as you leave, you can be quiet about it. Representative Wazlawik.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So similar to Representative Lippert's bill, this bill will help our local communities, particularly our food shelves and other community organizations that provide food for folks who can't necessarily afford that in our communities, providing fresh local produce and milk for those who often can't afford those products themselves. It's good for farmers and it's good for food shelves and good for our communities and great for Minnesota because it requires that the products be from Minnesota producers and processors. And also, as you mentioned, we heard from Second Harvest earlier in session, and they said that they would love to be able to provide more access for folks, and so this is a way of making sure that we can do that. And I will turn it over to the testifiers here.
Thank you. Welcome to the committee, and introduce yourself and provide your testimony.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members, and thank you for the opportunity to testify again this morning about this very exciting and successful project that we've had for a number of years now. My name is Bob Branham, and I'm the Director of Produce Strategy for Second Harvest Heartland. I'm joined by my colleague, Julie Van Hove, who manages collaborative sourcing for the 6 Minnesota food banks, including responsibility for dairy and protein sourcing. In my role at Second Harvest Heartland, I lead a team of produce specialists who work to increase the amounts of fruits and vegetables distributed to food shelves across the state in all 87 counties. One of our most important tools for ensuring we can meet the demand for high-quality fresh produce for our food insecure neighbors is funding appropriated through the state of Minnesota through a program known as the Farm to Food Shelf. The state generously appropriates funds to Second Harvest Heartland, funds we then use with our farmer donors to offset some of their packaging and labor costs. The farmers then donate the produce to Second Harvest Heartland for distribution to our peer food banks across the state and the food shelves that serve all of our counties. Produce acquired with these funds are for surplus yields our donors normally realize each harvest season. This legislation helps support Minnesota growers by providing an additional outlet for their crops. Without this program, most or all of the food would remain unharvested to be tilled into the soil, a tremendous loss of nutrition for those that need it the most. Instead, this fresh, healthy produce is distributed throughout Minnesota and helps feed the 1 in 11 Minnesotans that are hungry and food insecure every day. This proposed legislation seeks an additional $1 million in funding for Farm to Food Shelf in order to expand its impact to meet other nutritional needs of food shelf users. Protein is the most requested food group among our clients, but also the costliest and most challenging to source for our food shelves and food banks in Minnesota. Additional funding for Farm to Food Shelf would enable Minnesota food banks to expand efforts to meet the demand for protein without doing so at the expense of the significant gains made in expanding the availability of fresh, locally grown produce. And then I testified last time, this program represents about 20% of the donated produce into hunger relief across the state. In addition, this legislation provides funding to support Minnesota food banks to source fluid milk. Second Harvest Heartland currently receives a $550,000 appropriation to purchase milk from Minnesota producers through a low-cost bidding process. Food shelves are then able to receive milk from their local food bank. However, the appropriation we currently receive to purchase milk meets the demand at Minnesota food shelves for only about 6 months. Milk, along with protein and produce, round out the top 3 most requested food types from food from food shelf customers. Because of the high demand for milk, food shelves often struggle to find additional resources to purchase milk in the second half of the year. We are seeking additional funding so that we can purchase more milk from Minnesota milk producers and ensure that our clients can access milk at their local food shelf the entire year. We greatly appreciate support the state provides to help ensure that our hungry neighbors can access nutritious produce and milk through their local food shelves. This legislation will continue to build on these efforts by increasing funding to ensure we can meet the demand for milk for the entire year. Additional allocations for produce and other agricultural commodities like protein will enable us to maintain our strong current efforts to work with Minnesota growers to source fresh produce while also building the capacity to work with Minnesota protein producers in the same way. The overall impact of this legislation is significant. It helps ensure that our hungry neighbors across the state have consistent access to healthy and in-demand products. It also supports Minnesota farmers and producers by increasing their outlets for surplus yields and reduces the scourge of food waste in our state, using food as it was intended and as our agricultural community works so hard to provide. Thank you for your support, your continued support, and for allowing us to testify today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Branham. All right, Ms. Van Hove.
Thank you, Madam Chair. He has represented the testimony for our entire organization.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Did you have any other testifiers? All right. Is there anyone in the audience that wanted to speak to this bill, House File 1096? Thank you. Any questions from committee members? We have a question from Representative Cleaborn.
Thank you, Madam Chair and testifiers. On line 2.1, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this properly. So if the grant request for a year or the funding for a year is 2.6 million.
Yeah.
On the back on 2.1, it says that they may use up to 15% of each grant awarded under this paragraph to match administrative and transportation expenses. Is that the transportation to haul the produce to your facility? Is that what that's about?
Madam Chair and committee members, the 15% helps offset some of the expense of transportation. For those of you that are in that business in any way, shape, or form, you know that the costs have been rising as the supply of transportation has been decreasing. We estimate that it covers about a third of the expense for us to manage this program. So it's helpful. But it's a tremendously costly business to ship produce in and then ship produce out.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Representative Wazlawik, did you have some closing comments?
No closing comments, but just would like to renew my motion.
Absolutely.
To that House File 1096 be laid over for possible inclusion in the Ag Finance Omnibus Bill.
Thank you. With that, House File 1096 is laid over. And now we're going to go to, thank you very much for your testimony and for being here today. Representative Anderson, we're going to turn over for House File 1301. And again, this is kind of the a continuation on a theme that we have going. And so this is a little bit more specific to dairy and milk. So again, this would be the intention to lay over. But Representative Anderson, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, committee members and those in the audience. I would like to move House File 1301 for possible inclusion in the Omnibus Ag Finance Bill.
Thank you, Representative Anderson. So please just tell us about your bill and if you have any testifiers.
Madam Chair and members, this bill is pretty straightforward. When we had the Second Harvest folks testify a couple of weeks back, I think Mr. Branham mentioned that the grants they get currently for milk procurement cover about half of the year for them. So we thought, why not double the amount and allow them to purchase milk for the food shelves for the entire year? And another part of this, Madam Chair, is that our dairy farmers are facing an extreme price situation in which they simply aren't able to make ends meet. And one of the things I think we need to work on is increasing demand for milk and milk products, cheese, whatever. And this program, I think, would be symbolic, but also increase demand, double the demand from this program, which has been around for about 12 years. And it began at $250,000 a year. It was last increased in 2015. Representative Pearson had the bill that carried that increase for a $50,000 increase. So what this bill does, Madam Chair, is doubles the appropriation for Second Harvest Heartland to purchase what they call their highest demand product and maybe most costly as well. So it would double the purchase of milk on an annual basis for Second Harvest Heartland.
Thank you, Representative Anderson. Is there any questions from committee members? Anyone in the audience who would like to testify? All right. So Representative Anderson, do you want to, with that, we're going to, you want to renew your motion, please?
Madam Chair, I renew my motion that House File 1301 be laid over for possible inclusion in the Omnibus Ag Finance Bill.
Thank you. We will lay it over for possible inclusion in Omnibus Ag Finance Bill. We do have a comment or question from Representative Tabke, and in the meantime, if you'll just remain there, Representative Anderson. Representative Tabke.
Thank you, Chair Poppe. I just wanted to say thank you to you and all of the three bills that we've had so far this morning about encouraging small local farms and in helping to incentivize and push forward those markets and supply chains for having more locally grown produce available in Minnesota. So thank you for hearing these three bills and for moving them forward, and I hope that they can be successful as it goes. So thank you.
Thank you. So Representative Anderson, we'll just change it up a little bit because we do have you seated there, but I know that we have some members of Minnesota Milk and some dairy producers here who will provide a little bit of a presentation. So if you don't mind, then we'll move you next. But if we'll bring down Lucas Sjostrom, if you recall, a couple of weeks ago, we had a fairly thorough presentation by Mr. Sjostrom, and Mr. Buck, I believe, is also here, be able to provide some information. In the meantime as well, Steve Schlangen can come down and Brenda Rudolph. These are the people that will provide some additional testimony today. And we'll kind of set the stage a little bit with your testimony, and then we'll be able to talk about the bills. And Representative Anderson has a bill, and then I have a couple of as well. So they're all going to be laid over for possible inclusion, but we really did want to highlight again the need, and as Representative Anderson has just alluded to, the need for dairy to be able to get some boost in income. So welcome to the committee, and Mr. Sjostrom, when you're ready, we'll just turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate. I'm going to try to fix my own IT problem. There we go. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members of the committee. And thank you for welcoming President Buck and myself and the other testifiers back. So I think we took a full hour and a half last time. So this in 2 more hours, I think you guys should understand the full dairy industry. And the Vice Chair has given me the thumbs up. So I think we've got permission. Actually, I'll be extremely brief. And I'll turn it over to Dave, and then I also have Steve Schlangen, who's a farmer from Albany, also chair of the co-op at AMPI, and Brenda Rudolph, who's a farmer from Little Falls and brought the whole family down, even let son Everett skip school, and I think the teacher is tuning in. So Everett, you're welcome, and Brenda, I think it's really important that we all participate in this process. I've got 5 slides. I think you have them in front of you, and I'll just briefly go through them. Some of them may look familiar, but I guess I'd highlight just a reminder that one slide I don't have in there is Minnesota's dairy industry from farm to table is a $9 billion with a B dollar impact. So that's 9 U.S. bank stadium constructions every single year, and $1 billion goes directly to state and local taxes. And so I just can't emphasize enough that I think the investment in Minnesota's dairy is very worth it, especially in these trying times, and hopefully the upcoming charts will show you that. I'm guessing this first chart is not a surprise to any of you. In just under 30 years, going from about 12,000 farms to just over 2,500 today, about 2,700 total. And of late, our cheese stocks are climbing, and a big reason for that would be due to the instances in trade. I won't get into that because I did a lot of that last time. But essentially, this is what's hanging over the market and not allowing us to clear the market, so to speak, and go forward. The good news is in 2018, what was hanging over the market even before this was Europe had a large amount of solid stocks, so large and so long that there was a fear that a lot of it was going to go to animal feed because it was just sitting there being purchased by the government in Europe. That has essentially totally cleared. So now we see opportunity for these cheese stocks to go down and hopefully good times ahead. But our dairy farmers, including the 3 you're going to hear from, they're in 2 situations. They're either in, and they're in so good and so hard and so strong and proud that they will be here no matter what. So our question is, will there be months and years of rebuilding, or will there be decades? The other situation is they're taking generational opportunities right now to exit the dairy industry or rebuild so that they too are invested for the long haul. And I think, and I hope you agree with me, that we want them in that second category, investing for the long haul. And so that's what our bills, your bills will hopefully do today. This is an update. We got 2018 numbers, but this is just an estimate. We don't have the final farm business management numbers, so these come from FinBin, which you've probably heard before in this committee. So the farm business management. And as we were looking at this this graph, there's some green in there, and that's a good thing, but there's also some red. And what I want to emphasize is farm business management is often farmers working with their farm business manager to get the best darn numbers possible to convince the banker that we should borrow. So in these numbers is family living, in these numbers is healthcare costs, in these numbers is everything they can possibly have. And for those of you who don't know, farm business managers, I would say, focus on the small and medium-sized dairies that we all probably think of and know about, and the dairies sitting behind me today. So I did a quick math, and I would say about 27 cents per hundredweight. That's $10,000 of family living. So you can see the years where a family of four, say, that has 200 cows would be $10,000. Most of the last 7 years, we haven't made that amount. Luckily, we had 2014 in there, or fortunately, I should say, not luckily. And so 2018, it looks like a little blip there, but that's a very small cost of living. And again, these are the best numbers possible to convince your banker that you deserve an operating loan to move forward. Madam Chair, I think this also isn't a surprise. This is the exit rate over time, and I'll zoom in a second at the end of this. But you can see besides the middle of the 1980s and close to the late 60s and 70s, when we were going through a different time of fast change, we have reached numbers now. This graph stops in 2008. It was an old chart that we pulled, but you'll see now that we've climbed back to those rates. And so, as I illustrated before in my previous testimony, the last time we had exit rates close to this in the last decade or two was good times. Farmers were exiting with equity, exiting on a high note when their cows and their farms were worth something. Now we've waited so long and tried to build back equity that hasn't come, that farms are exiting as of January 1st at over 10%. I think the February numbers did drop a bit, very slightly, but over 10% on January 1. Also, just to note, as we've said before in this committee, these are goat and cow farm numbers. But if you look at the January 1, 2019, I checked with the Department of Agriculture, and you just switch the last two numbers, and that represents the cow number. So there's 2,736 cow dairy farms in Minnesota as of January 1st. And that's all I have. And with that, Madam Chair, I'm here for questions, but I think probably turn it over to President Dave Buck next.
Yes, excellent. President Buck, welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm just going to give a couple of maybe more personal sides of the dairy industry. This downturn has been long and grueling, and most ag people in dairy, we have cycles. We get a year that's good, a year that's not so good, and a year that's bad, and we ride the cycles. This has been pretty much a 4-year downturn, and it's starting to take its toll on people. I know of a friend of mine who's gone into counseling for depression because of it, and we're thankful for any state programs that help out in that regard. 2 years ago, we had a neighbor, his son-in-law was going to start working with him, and he was farming with him for about, I don't know if it was 6 months, possibly a year. I don't even know if it was that long before he realized there wasn't much future in it. And so he was able to get another job, and he had qualifications for the feed industry, I think. But 6 months later, the cows left, and this was two brothers' operation. It was 500 cows. So many times we hear that it's the small farms that are getting affected. Everyone is getting affected by this. It's been relentless. And I'll give you a little bit about our dairy and what we're looking at. We're trying to look at the future too, because I have 2 sons involved and a third possibly. And if you want to grow or modernize, you have to spend money, and lots of it. The challenge is that it's those people who did that have a higher debt load, and they're the ones that are really being challenged by this downturn. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. You really put yourself at risk by trying to do something for the future. To piggyback on Lucas's comment about the profits there, yeah, the cost of living has to come out of there. That's sometimes people don't realize that, and it gets to be a challenge. Most younger people, a lot of them now have one spouse has a job off the farm because you simply cannot afford to make it farming alone just by your farm income. And maybe on the other personal side, I think last time I was here, one of the representatives asked about why don't people just get out, and I thought about that, trying to relate it to somebody who works in town, somebody who really loves their job, just absolutely loves it, and they go to work one day and they're told by the boss that things aren't good. We're going to give you a 25% pay cut, but we think it'll turn around. So you stick with it, and next year it says, well, we got to do another 25% pay cut because it just does not look good. So they think about getting a different job, and then they go, oh, by the way, and I know this is probably not legal, but you can't take your 401k with you. We're going to keep that. It's similar in the dairy industry. We're losing the downturn. You think you're going to get through it, and then you're losing equity. And our retirement is our cattle and other assets we have. Cattle prices have gone from $2,200 to $1,000 for cows. I mean, it's not just our cash income that's taken a hit. It's what I would call our retirement. So that's one of the reasons people hang on, because they think it's going to turn around, and it just gets to be a challenge. That's probably all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I apologize, I have another dairy meeting to go to, so I will not be staying to the end of this, but happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, President Buck. Representative Brand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one brief question, and this is, either one of you could probably answer this question, but we know that farmers are always on call. We know that twice a day the cows have to be milked. We know that despite the fact there might be some snow, you still have to get up and go to the barn and milk those cows. In southeastern Minnesota, with all that snow and roads being shut down and the milk trucks not being able to pick up the milk from the bulk tanks, do you have any idea what it's like right now down in southeastern Minnesota?
Yes, I don't know if President Buck, you've experienced that a little bit.
I'll just give you how it went on our farm, and we were not in the worst area. We had 8 to 10 inches of snow, and we did get the milk truck into the place. We're about a mile off of a county road that pretty much stayed open. So I was plowing our township road. I went down there 9 times in 12 hours just to get people in and the milk out, and we got it done. The milkman came and asked, what's the best route to get to Plainville where our milk goes? And I told him, well, you better take 52, it's 4-lane, and then get into Orinoco. So he does that, he gets to Orinoco, and he gets off, and the road is closed, so he had to turn around, and he came back to Hastings with it. But so it was a challenge. Our area, I think we got it done. I'm not sure, because I think it's worse when you go 30 miles south of us. So it definitely is a challenge.
And maybe Mr. Sjostrom, you might have some more information.
Yeah, Madam Chair, Vice Chair Brand, I'll just briefly give you some stats I learned in the past 24 hours, and as Chairman of AMPI, Steve may have some more when he starts his testimony. But I know at one plant, 4 of 30 loads made it on Sunday, 4 of 30 full tanker loads of milk. And at another plant, I believe it was close to that. It was 2 of 26 or something similar were the 2 plants. And as of this morning, unfortunately, between Saturday and today, we have 15 confirmed barn collapses around the state. It first started coming in southeast Minnesota, then a couple in the southwest, and now we've had several in central Minnesota as well between New Ulm and Little Falls. So yeah, just adding insult to injury, especially this winter, and not to, we deal with this often. We haven't dealt with it quite like this for a while. We got no snow in my area, and even me, I was pushing snow, and that's a bad sign if I'm pushing snow on Sunday, just so I didn't have to feed calves. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chair Schlongen, unless there's any other questions for us at this time.
All right, I think Representative Hansen, do you have a question?
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. And this is to the bill, so I could wait until the testimony is done.
Sounds good. Mr. Schlangen, do you want to continue?
Good morning, Madam Chair, committee members. As far as the EMPI, I haven't heard at all if we haven't gotten all the milk to the plants, but I do know that we have a helping neighbor type program in our co-op that if it doesn't get to the plants, that the co-op will cover that milk for that farmer. It's kind of a self-insurance program. So our haulers are pretty good at getting it to the plants, so they'll go through almost anything to get it there. So just to add on to what David was talking about, the challenges in the country, a good friend of mine in Wisconsin 4 years ago had the DNR force him to put a manure pit in if he wanted to stay in business. He needed to expand his operation in order to cash flow. And just this past year, he filed Chapter 12 bankruptcy. He sold his cows. He lost $600,000 worth of value on his cows in like 2 years' time. And you can imagine what happens when you have a slug of cows going to the market and not enough buyers. I've heard of instances where they closed down the auction and told farmers to bring them home and bring them back another day because they weren't going to sell them at such a low price. So some really devastating things have been happening. So I'll just move on into supporting the environmental bills or any type of help farmers could get that are involved with protecting the environment. I think most of our dairy farmers, if not all, want to protect the environment. I think we're all stewards of the land. We rotate crops. We grow alfalfa, which is a good crop for holding soil. We grow quite a bit of corn, which takes CO2 out of the air, carbon, and puts oxygen back into the air. And we do a good job of putting back on the field what we take off to feed our cows. Most of us we live on the land, we drink the water, we love the fish, and we love to hunt, just like many other people. Personally, I've been in the CSP program for the last 14 years. I try to continue to improve our environmental stewardship continuously, but at the same time, I still need to stay profitable. A few years ago, in 2015, I qualified for the Minnesota Ag Water Quality Certification Program. I didn't need to do a lot. I needed to put injectors on my manure tanks so that I could inject my manure into the ground. It costs a bit of money, but the payback was probably a year. It was quick. But other projects that were required, my biggest project was to put terraces in on a field where we had some erosion issues. And they put terraces in with some tile with standpipes and holding ponds or whatever. That project cost me, my share of it was between $4,000 and $5,000. And there's very little payback on that other than that it's good for the environment and it gives the water, gives the nutrients a chance to settle out of the water before the water goes down to the ditch. The bigger cost was probably the yields we lost on that same field because of all the soil that was moved around. And when you move soil and move it back, it doesn't grow the same crops for a number of years until you get that soil all built up again. So I would say any financial assistance would be helpful for farmers. I think it might be an incentive for farmers to do more practices. Right now, I think their definition, dairy farmers' definition of sustainability would be staying in business for another year. Moving on to the other bill on the support for the dairy margin coverage assistance. I'll just go back a little bit. as a chairman of AMPI, I'm also on the board of directors of National Milk Producers Federation. And 8 years ago, I attended my first National Milk Producers Federation board meeting, and we were talking about the Foundation for the Future, which included the Margin Protection Program. And we did a lot of work to try to make it a good program for farmers. It's a program designed to protect the margin. So it uses a national all feed price and a national all milk price, and you can ensure the margin between those two. So back then, we thought we had a really good program. It came out that at the last minute, the feed formula got cut by 10%, and at the same time, feed prices dropped from the high of about $15 per hundredweight down to $7.62 per hundredweight. So if you buy margin insurance and if your feed formula was $10 and you bought up $7, you'd be guaranteed $17. That would be a pretty good price. But when the feed formula dropped to $7.60, now $7 on top of that is only like 14 something. And these are national averages. Doesn't mean it's your milk price you're insuring. So that safety net really dropped with those feed prices and with that cut. During those years, 2015 through 17, farmers paid $100 million in premiums to the program. The program paid out $12 million in return during times when prices were low. So after a couple of years, most farmers lost interest in that program. They were not going to pay a premium on something that didn't cover them when they needed to be covered. Now the new farm bill, I'm sure many of you have heard about it, and dairy was probably the biggest winner in that whole bill. That now offers you can buy anywhere from $4 coverage up to $9.50 coverage on the tier 1, which is the first 5 million pounds of milk per farm. So it really protects the smallest farms the most, and it protects everybody some. Your premiums are much reduced on the first 5 million pounds of milk to make it really affordable. There's expanded production coverage, so you can insure as little as 5% of your production or up to 95% of your production. And it does repay some of the past premiums, and that's the difference between what farmers paid in those years and what was paid out. And you could get 50% of that back in cash, or you could get 75% of that back as a credit to buy the dairy margin coverage going forward. And it does allow also for retroactive participation in 2018, because a year ago, some people were in the livestock gross margin program, and they couldn't sign up for this program when that new bipartisan budget bill came out last year and allowed people to buy up to $8 coverage, retroactive to the first of the year. So they couldn't be involved in this. And I'm sure David was one of them. And with the new farm bill, you're now going to be able to sign up for that retroactive to January 1st of 2018. So that will help some of those farmers that were in that situation. So farmers are still, they're kind of unsure. They're skeptical because we all said the last program was going to be pretty good and it would be a no-brainer. So now when we tell them that, they don't quite listen quite as easily. The trust isn't quite there. The tariffs on cheese the second half of last year probably cost us each $1.65 a hundredweight. To me, that would have been about $12,000 that I lost off my milk check because of the tariffs on cheese from Mexico. And we got a little bit of that in this market facilitation program. I got about $2,000. So if I had the other 10, I could probably pay for all my seed to put in the ground this spring on my farm. So I really believe this new program is a really good safety net. I was helping with working on this for the past 8 years, and we worked hard to get what we got, and we think we got something really good. We just need incentives, and we need education to get people to sign up for it, because it could really help them going forward, and it could really help the rural communities that they live in also. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Schlangen. Yes, Representative Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Schlangen, I know that the milk pricing is complicated, and you mentioned that a lot of these are based on national average prices. Well, I think up in the Northeast, milk is higher priced, production costs are higher in the Northeast, New York, Vermont, up in that area. So how does that impact? Does that negatively impact us here because the prices there are higher?
Madam Chair, Representative Anderson. Yeah, the biggest reason I think their prices are higher is because their Class 1 utilization is quite a bit higher. And yeah, and that would impact the average price nationally. But I think there are places in the country that are lower also. And I think we're in a pretty good spot where we're probably going to be pretty close to average nationwide if you took everybody. The only issue probably that's hurt us more than everywhere else in the country is that we produce a lot of cheese, and cheese got hurt the most by the tariffs. Butter is worth just as much as butter was before the tariffs were put on. Powder is pretty strong, but cheese got hurt a lot because we just have too much cheese, and that's a commodity that really got hurt the worst. And I think the prices got so low you could actually export our barrels into Mexico and pay the 25% tariff and still be under where we should be at. So, but in the meantime, dairy farmers' prices went down to get that cheese market to that price and hold it there. So that was one of the bigger issues that we've had, and a lot of that is really due to some foreign investors producing extra cheese and not having a market for it, and just offering it on a CME, having us help pay to move it from wherever, maybe Texas, New Mexico, or Jerome, Idaho, because those rules on the CME are outdated and they need to be fixed. That's part of it too.
Thank you. You know what, let's bring up Ms. Rudolph as well, so she can give her testimony. Welcome to the committee, to both of you, and if you want to state your name and then provide your testimony, please.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, my name is Brenda Rudolph. This is my son Everett. He is in the 4th grade. And before we get started, he has a school project that he would like everyone to sign the piece of paper. So everything started around that way. So hopefully it won't count against him that he's gone today. Learning outside the classroom.
Absolutely, that's great.
Like I said, my name is Brenda Rudolph, and my husband Nathan Rudolph is here, and our 2 children, Everett and Vivian. Vivian is 4, and to give you a little bit better perspective of how long low milk prices have been, Vivian was born in December 2014. Milk prices were great, and in about, I want to say, March is when they completely tanked. So we have been in low milk prices Vivian's entire life, and she's 4. So I always kind of look at her and she's like, oh, and Everett was born in 2009, and again, that's when milk prices dropped, and so I'm always like, oh, I can't have any more babies. So, so we dairy farm in central Minnesota by Little Falls, and I share our life story I blog at Raising a Farmer. And Nathan is the 5th generation on his farm, and which makes our children 6. And it's very humbling to look out my kitchen window and to know that my children play in the exact same spot so many generations before him. When we look at low milk prices, we need to look at the bigger picture of it. This isn't just low milk prices and that what it's doing to us farmers, because like everyone has says that we go through it and we know what's coming, but we just didn't know it was going to be this long. But we need to look at our rural communities and what effect is that happening on our rural communities. Morrison County, we're sad, we're struggling, we're devastated. When we start losing farms, we start losing members of our community, we start losing people who are active, we start losing schools, we start losing churches, we start losing an entire community all alone. We start losing little co-ops, we start losing small businesses. What this bill would do for us is that we would be able to pay people that we do business with. I mean, some people say, well, just file bankruptcy, it's not a big deal. We know the faces of the people that we do business with. We know the kids of those people that we do business with. It's a big deal. As President Buck had said earlier about the farmers that have, had sought counseling because of the low milk prices, I myself have. It'll be a year in March that I myself sought a counselor because the pressures of finances, farming, family, your, the impact that you're making on your community, and that just how to navigate that it doesn't completely engulf you. This last winter, I took a different approach I was tired of listening to the doom and gloom of the dairy industry, and I took action. I created the Morrison County Milk Project, and so within our school, my 2 kids and I, we loaded up a little blue cooler, and we took milk to 5 different school districts, and we gave whole milk and 2% chocolate milk to kids after practice. We reached speech clubs, robotics, and the response that we got from that was phenomenal. I did seek sponsors with that because there's no way I'd be able to pay for that. Kids want milk. Kids like milk. So we need to, look at it differently. I'm a firm believer in that small things do matter. So 30 cents doesn't seem like a lot, but that 30 cents is going to be big. And that we ourselves, that it's us and it's our job to create the community that we want and create the community that we want our kids to come home to and the community that we want our children to live in. And I want my kids to stay in Morrison County. And I want them to farm, but if they choose not to, that's okay too. But yet, the hard part is that when families are having to sell their farms and they're packing up their house, they're leaving everything. They're not just changing jobs, they're moving, they're doing lots of things. They're not just packing up their own personal dreams, but they're also packing up the dreams of their children. And that's why it's so hard when farms are losing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Yes, Representative Tabke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a quick question about how you talked about how you started going to schools with milk and things like that. What did you learn through that process that could apply to the entire industry? That could be, is there anything that can be done there to help the markets? Is that to, like we've talked about today with local producers and things, to have local markets for things? Is there anything that you learned from that process that we can take away from it?
I think it is more of that we as dairy farmers need to be, our face needs to be known in our community. I've always been, my face in my community. But that we as farmers, we need to let people, because there was a 3-part process when I started the project. And so the first one was to get the milk in the hands of kids. And it was to enhance the practice, not just to disrupt it. So that's why we brought it after practice. The second part was to bring in awareness about the impact of what agriculture has on our rural communities. And then third was about healthy food choices. I'm a big believer in when I look at my refrigerator, it's not just all milk. Like I drink or eat and drink other stuff too. So it was a big picture part of that. But with that, I think it hopefully will help sales within Morrison County because the district of peers is actually this week adding milk into their vending machines in their school. They have to, go within guidelines and stuff. But that little bit is creating a snowball effect. And it's created many conversations about parents of maybe they should bring milk to their kids during practice, and just it's brought up a lot of good conversations.
Representative Tabke.
Yep. Thank you so much for that, because I think that one of the major issues that we run into in agriculture is that the farmer and the producers have become so far removed from the consumers and the end users, and understanding that that link and that everyone understands what people are going through and how we do that and how to make people care. Because my parents farm in Northwest Iowa, and they have farm tours, and they have a lot of things with the schools and working together with that to help share and show where things are coming from. And I think it's really important to continue to push those kinds of things and make sure that agriculture is accessible to the end consumer. And the more we can do that individually and by associations, the better off we all will be.
Thank you. Representative Tabke.
Yep, I completely agree with you. Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so I think Representative Hansen, do you have a question now, or we can move the bills so they're before us? Should we do that? And we're going to actually, if there's no objection, just move them all together because we can do that, and they're going to be laid over for possible inclusion. So Representative Hamilton, if you have no objection. Representative Anderson, do you mind if we just move the, okay, so we're going to move House File 1021, House File 1418 and House File 1419, all for possible inclusion in the Omnibus Ag Finance Bill. So Representative Hansen, to your question.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and maybe to the testifiers. It seems to me, looking at the data, that we are awash in milk, awash in cattle, and awash in cheese. That and that individual small producers are struggling because of the forces of monopolization and consolidation. And so I think the concern here, you know, and when I am a co-author on at least one of these bills that are the conservation practices, I would prefer if we just, I think there is a public benefit in providing support to small dairy farmers to keep a diversified agriculture throughout the countryside, to have healthy communities in a healthy state. And putting the conservation title on it, I think that's just something we should do in general. I think if we, right now in this crisis where there's overproduction, is that you provide the support to the small farmers with a check right now. And the simplest way, rather than building administration or finding another new program, is to just cross-reference with CSP or the Ag Quality Certification, or go through the soil and water districts that they have installations of soil conservation practices, because it seems that timeliness is the issue here, that we don't want to lose folks, and it's cash that is needed. And I, as a suburban legislator, am willing to fund cash for the public purpose of keeping a diversified agriculture if we cross-reference and rather than build a whole system of a new conservation program. But I would reduce that to about 250 cows rather than 1,000 cows. And I understand we can have that whole debate, but what I see small producers that are struggling, that they need the cash. Everybody needs cash. Everybody here needs cash, but I mean, I think if there's limited money, which we will have limited money to try to target it, to get dollars out, and that the struggle of overproduction, that hopefully the Farm Bill, because it's difficult for us, even at a state level, to turn the ship. The Farm Bill can start to do that and hopefully can build a more diversified agriculture. But for the bills that are in front of us, I'm supportive if we try to target that to the small producers, get the cash out there now. If they're already doing things like they have CSP or they've got waterways or ag quality certification, we reference that in statute so that there's another public purpose. But they don't have to do another hoop, which is going to be hard to do with all this snow, frankly. So I'd like your ideas on that if there's any support for it. But I think we have to have a discussion the other day about monopolization and consolidation. But for right now, the need is for those small farms to try to provide support.
Thank you, Representative Hansen. Okay, Mr. Sjostrom.
Madam Chair, Representative Hansen, I think the question or comment, the prompt is, you know, on not creating a new bureaucracy. So I'll address that. But I guess first, I agree with you. The goal here is to get cash into farmers' hands. I mean, that is unfortunately the need and why we're here. Second, I think that's why we've outlined the bills, and I think why Representative Anderson outlined his bill in the same way, and he can speak to that if I'm wrong. But we don't want and can't afford the time of a new program. And so hopefully that's exactly what we do. As far as size, everybody in here has a different opinion of what size is right, of course. But I know at no matter what level you have it at, there's a family that's missed. There's a multi-generational thing that's missed. And so my job, working for every single dairy farmer, we have the smallest and largest as part of our organization. We have every type of production system as part of our organization. We do our best not to draw lines. I understand you as legislators need to do that. But even at the at the language that's within the bill today, we are missing some true families that instead of being 8 or 10 100-cow dairies, it's 8 or 10 family members working together that are over the caps within these bills. So that would be my caution, but at the same time, I understand the fiscal pressures you are under.
Thank you. Mr. Schlangen.
Madam Chair, committee members. Just a little response to the supply and demand or the production issue. Our milk production the past year is up like 0.9%, which is well below what we normally are up year over year. The bigger issue is that our markets have gone away with less cheese going into Mexico and places like that. So yeah, we have oversupply in the country. The extra production really the past year has come from the Southwest. New Mexico and Texas have been up 6-8% at times. The West is up. A lot of that is because of the price of corn, and they can probably buy corn cheaper than we can raise it here. Things have changed a lot in the last 2 years just up in the upper Midwest. We have farms in Wisconsin who are switching. I mean, all the milk that used to come from Michigan into Wisconsin is now going up into the Northeast because they lost a lot of farms too, and their milk is higher value up that way. So Wisconsin is struggling getting enough milk into their plants right now, and I think it's going to trickle into Minnesota just like it did the other way a few years ago. So things are changing already. The new farm bill is really geared for those 200 to 220 cow herds, or that many cows per farm. I think that's a really good thing to protect our smallest farms the most. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Anderson, and I apologize, you certainly can speak to your bill as well. And we are going over, but we acknowledge that that's going to be part of what we'll need to do, because I want to be able to have a full conversation about this. So, Representative Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I appreciate Representative Hanson's, your words there and the willingness to help out this segment of agriculture. Thank you for that. Mr. Slangen, I do have to ask a question in all honesty here. We've heard folks say that this has been a 4-year downturn in dairy prices, and you blame partially the tariffs with Mexico, but that's been a relatively short-term thing, since back in June, I believe. So there's got to be more to it than just the tariffs on cheese in terms of this long-term decline in dairy prices. Could you comment on that?
Mr. Schlangen.
Sure, Madam Chair, committee members. And it hasn't been just a thing that's where it's gone down and just stayed down. I mean, after 2 years, it looked like we were going to recover. Things are starting to get better. And then we had this whole thing with Canada and ultra-filtered milk coming back into the country, coming back into our markets, not allowing milk protein concentrate to go into Canada. Grassland is cutting dairy farmers off in Wisconsin. So we're kind of recovering from that. And a year ago, we were looking at, by June, the second half of 2018 was going to be really pretty good. Well, about June 1 or July 1, whenever the tariffs got put in place, that ended that. So it's really not that far off our normal 3-year cycles of going up and down. It's just that there's been these market, whatever you would call them, challenges that have come into play that never did before. And they probably will continue. Who knows? But at least now we have a safety net in the Farm Bill that's going to be a floor for our smaller dairy farms and allow them to get the upside when things do get better.
Thank you.
But thank you for that question.
Thank you. All right. So I think we'll, so Representative Anderson, I'll have you, if you want to sit there, you can, and just tell us about your bill.
Again, thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to emphasize, too, that we have several bills that will address, in part, the situation with dairy. And I support all of them. I support your bill. I'm sure you support mine. And we just want something to get out there that provides some immediate help for our dairy folks. And my bill, House File 1021, should I move it?
Yes. Well, we kind of moved them all together,
Okay,
so
okay.
you can just speak to it. Let us know what it is.
In my bill, I have 1,000 cow upper limit, and that was hard to come up with that. I have a neighbor that there's a father and 2 sons. I think they have about 400 acres of land. Certainly a small farmer, but they milk about 400 cows. So again, where do you draw that line, set those limits? It's really difficult. 1,000 cows, I picked that number, just to be honest, and it's totally up for discussion and movement, but a lot of 1,000 cow dairies are really family farms today, and even some that are bigger. And We went into the area of conservation, and I agree too that maybe establishing new programs is not the way to go here, but I think there was a perception that how would it play out to just give a segment of agriculture money without something in return? And we came up with this conservation plan that a lot of these practices that we have in my bill are being done now. The water quality certification program is an excellent program. I think better than the buffer program. But anyway, and if farmers would qualify for that, a lot of them have. I think we can look at this as kind of a reward for doing good things. And yet, if we can structure it correctly, get that cash into farmers' hands to help with their immediate cash flow needs. And I would envision at least my bill being a one-time program. We can't continue doing this year after year after year, but this one time when the need is great after this 4-year downturn, I think we can understand and appreciate the situation dairy farmers are in, and having the support of our metro and suburban folks, to me, is I really appreciate that. And with that, Madam Chair, I would stand for questions and encourage support.
Thank you, Representative Anderson. Representative Tapke.
Madam Chair, thank you. Representative Anderson, I think we have to continue at some point. Now is probably not the right time, but to continue to find out what those thresholds are, because I know that as we talk about 1,000 cattle dairies and large hog productions and different things like that, that the environmental impacts are exponentially different between, we go from 250, as Representative Hansen says, to 1,000, and just understanding what we want all together as a state, I think, is something we'll need to talk about and figure out as we're working through bills in the future, and figuring out what is the right thing for us to, just so that I can wrap my head around something that's a little more standardized as to what, when we say small farmer, what does that mean? Because and how we handle that. And I know there's probably been a ton of work done around this in the past, but just so that we know where we're wanting things to be, to clearly show the industries what we want to do and how we want to move forward with legislation.
Thank you. I'll just speak about House File 1419, which is similar as far as a conservation assistance program. And although I know Minnesota Milk is behind this effort and really wanted to try to figure out a couple of things and how we could do this, I actually heard about this from a local person who is in the neighboring district who sells seed and does other things, and he suggested some kind of conservation carbon capture incentive program that would allow for payment, because to kind of mesh those two things, which is agriculture and environment. And when environment and good land stewardship is being done, then how do we help to continue to promote that and continue to allow people to be recognized for that? So I think it has some value. A couple of things about the size of farms: 85% of dairy farms currently in the state are under 300 cows, and so maybe that's the number that we look at: 300 cows and fewer. And then, as has been said, we're still eliminating some people who might be in need, but at least we'd try to be capturing more people and more farmers. So I think that that's something for us all to consider. But I do think that House File 1419, along with Representative Anderson's bill, the idea is, what can we do to infuse some cash dollars into dairy farmers, helping them kind of in a separate but coexistent kind of issue to help them to sustain and be successful and be able to thrive. And as the federal farm bill kicks in a little bit more and you have that opportunity, then we'll see some improvement, hopefully, for those farmers. So that's 1419. 1418 is House File 1418. That actually talks more about the federal dairy margin coverage program, and that is kind of the insurance program that allows dairy farmers to be able to get some funds when things go go south. So that is also to provide them some funding and would be designed for people who are in the small to middle market as far as the number of dairy cows they have in their herd. So that's another one. I don't know if anybody has any questions for either Representative Anderson or I, or for Mr. Sjostrom.
Yeah, Madam Chair, not trying to hold you here any longer, but my farmers are always a lot smarter than me, and Steve just mentioned something. No matter where you put the line at, there may be a way to measure families per farm, and that easy way might be tax returns. You may be able to have people self-certify through tax returns. So through your discussion, either joint or single tax returns, which of course the state would be able to check on, might be a good way for you to figure out how many families are benefiting from something. But again, thanks so much for the opportunity here today.
Thank you. Are there any questions? We do have testifiers that have traveled here to be able to provide some testimony, and we've had some really good, thoughtful discussions. So I appreciate that. We've come from farm to school all the way to this subject today, and it was very informative. And I appreciate that we're a good committee to come together with some good ideas. So thank you. If I see no other conversation around this, I'm going to say that meeting is adjourned. Thank you.